Why do we buy physical media? Why? Why do we spend the money and get big collections of movies? I mean, that is a decent, normal question to ask someone who collects stuff. Why do you collect movies? It's like, I know a lot of people will collect because they want to have a nice library of cinema, to preserve cinema, like me, to preserve and to curate an archive of film history. And then there's others who will like to collect to have the artwork or the like the supplemental extras that come with it, or they'd like to have a complete collection of a series of films. Like if someone wanted to get the complete collection of Kino Lorber movies that had been released, that's something they might collect. More specifically, that seems to be a label thing, more or less than a film thing. We like to watch movies in the best possible quality. We also like to talk about movies, well, not specifically movies, but more specifically the releases, which is probably the bigger part of the physical media world, that seem to be more fixated on what a release is compared to what the film is. And I made a video about, does the film really matter? And of course the film matters. The film should be above all the main focus of a release, not the packaging or the extras, like I don't know, a booklet or something that comes with it. Don't get me wrong. We all like special features and collector's editions. And like I pointed out not so long ago, I can't get it out now. I just recently picked up the Studio Canal Flash Gordon 4K. And the reason I picked this up is because it's a fantastic collection and it's got so much in there. And it was a decent price. It was $31.99. So I'm going to get it. It was down from 50 quid. So yeah, we want to collect movies. Oh my god, I'm fucking this up now. We want to collect movies, but we want the best possible version. But then going back to what I talked about first, about there are people who want to preserve and archive films. We do that because they may not be available again. So, for instance, I had a couple of movies. I've lost them now. Where'd I put them? I have put them somewhere. I've got some DVDs that I wanted to use as examples, and I also had some Blu-rays that I wanted to use as examples. But I've put them somewhere. Ah, there they are. Right, so the Blu-rays, these are only three. There's only three Blu-rays that I'm going to use as examples, because a lot of the stuff that I own is clearly available, but has been available in the past. Like I've owned 3 different versions of The Quiet Earth, and I own the DVD of Miracle Mile, as well as the Arrow Blu-ray. Maybe I'll add a 4th film. I can't get it out now. I'll add a 4th film to this. Again, with like specifically Arrow DVDs or Arrow Blu-rays, there's a lot, and pardon me, I've had to take them out to fit other stuff in. I need to rearrange it all. There are movies that have been released by Arrow, but then they've been released again by a separate company, like a different company. So I think 101 Films maybe released or re-released Shivers and Rabid, I think, the David Cronenberg films. But some of these aren't necessarily Arrow films. There's one Arrow film that I'm going to use. These are films that I did own on a separate, that I have owned on a separate release, but ones that we may not see again. This definitely, we'll probably see this again, because I think this was a huge sort of release for this movie. It's William Friedkin's Sorcerer. I owned a Region 1 DVD of this for many years before I actually watched it on Blu-ray. I had never seen the film prior to it. It was a remake of a French film called The Wages of Fear, which again has now been remade, is on Netflix. But like I said, I'd owned this on DVD from Region 1 from America for many years. But the DVD was such poor quality that it was virtually unwatchable. So when E1 released this version on Blu-ray, I thought, you know what, I'm gonna take a punt on it. I'm gonna check it out. It's the 40th anniversary collector's edition. I've put the original artwork on the front and changed it from the horrible orange one that they used. One of the things that drew me to it was the fact that it's a William Friedkin movie. I'm a huge William Friedkin fan. Love The Exorcist. Love French Connection. I absolutely adore To Live and Die in LA. It's sad that the man's gone. But this was one of his earlier films that I wasn't really 100% on, because I'd never really seen it. I'd seen clips from Wages of Fear and it looked fantastic. But I was just like, I'll give it a try. I might not get into it. Holy shit, this film is incredible. This film is such a good film, and it's probably, outside of The French Connection and The Exorcist, this is probably Friedkin's like tour de force, edge of your seat thriller movie. It's beautifully shot, beautifully scored, wonderfully acted by Roy Scheider and everyone else in it. It makes you feel sweaty. It makes you feel humid. It's a horrible feeling. But again, we will probably see this again. But this is, or I'm using this as an example for a film that I owned in such a horrendously bad, almost unwatchable state, that had E1 never released Sorcerer on Blu-ray, I may never have bothered to watch it, and it may have just landed, like, just stayed on that really piss poor excuse for a DVD from America. But thank Christ that I was able to watch this film in the quality that this Blu-ray is, and it looks stunning, by the way. Incredible movie, just unbelievably good, fantastic. The score's by Tangerine Dream, and it's at times tense. It works so well with the movie. The production design is fantastic. The cinematography on this is insanely good. But yeah, so I think what I'm getting at with Sorcerer is, like I said, had I only ever kept that really bad US DVD, that was, the picture quality it was worse than VHS quality. It was so bad. I may not have bothered to watch it ever, but because it did come out on Blu-ray, I was able to see it as it was. And the same goes for a couple of other films. This one is a film, this is In the Aftermath. This is released by Arrow Video. This is a film that, like, I never ever thought I would ever see again. I thought I had imagined it, because I watched it when I was very young. In this room, actually, on a black and white TV when I was very young and very ill, and I couldn't sleep. And like, this didn't exist here at that point. There was a single bed. There was like a chest of drawers with a black and white, like a 12-inch or 14-inch black and white TV. I'm talking the 80s now. This is, well, 80s, maybe very early 90s time. And again, this was a film that I never thought I would ever see. And the importance that physical media plays in bringing these films to light is insane. It's incredible. I mean, this is a brand new 2K restoration from original film elements. And, like, this is a fucking bizarre movie. This is a film that has got live action scenes mixed with a anime movie called Angel's Egg, directed by Mamoru Oshii, who was responsible for Ghost in the Shell. Like this massive mid-90s, almost like sort of turning point in Japanese animation, the same sort of Japanese animation turning point that Akira did in 1988 when that came out, which I also have, but I'm not going to reach down and get it. Oh, there it is. I actually checked it out on 4K the other day, Akira, and oh my god, it looks fantastic. My brother's got the 4K. I've just got the standard. But again, like, this is a film that I was just... I thought I'd imagined it. I remembered the name. I remembered the name of it being In the Aftermath. And the fact that Arrow announced this film, and let's be honest, especially if you live in the UK, Arrow is very, very inconsistent with their releases. And I can understand that's due to a lot of licensing problems in the UK. I think Paramount will not license their catalogue to Arrow in the UK, because I think a lot of them, I don't know why, maybe it's to do with Paramount Plus, or maybe they've got license agreements with other companies and stuff. But in the States, it's absolutely, they're knocking it out of the park. They've had Conan. I know that's not Paramount, that's Universal, but in the UK it's 20th Century Fox, or 20th Century. I don't think it's Fox now, so it's technically owned by Disney. But they've had like things like The Warriors, the theatrical cut of The Warriors, a film that is only available in the UK on a 20-year-old DVD. Or you can buy the horrendously bad director's cut, where Walter Hill just completely ruins his own movie. And I love Walter Hill. I've proved that when I talked about how much I loved The Driver. But The Warriors is a film that needs to be released to a wider audience than just fucking Americans. And yeah, I know people are going to be like, oh, but yeah, you can import the 4K. I could import the 4K, but I would rather have a British release of a film like that than have to go to the States or go to Amazon.com or whoever stocks fucking Arrow movies in the States than have a British release. I know this is specifically for British collectors. I know a lot of collectors will be like, we've got Kino Lorber, we've got this, we've got all the Criterions, there's a Barnes & Noble sale where you can get 50% off. It's like, good for fucking you, that's fine, but I am not spending my hard-earned money to get movies that are released at $40 to $50 to get 50% off and still end up spending $25 or $30 or whatever, however much it costs, just to get one film released or one film sent from the States to the UK. It's not worth the postage, and I guarantee you most likely going to get hit by customs. I don't know if that's true, but the fact that Arrow released In the Aftermath, this really bizarre sort of left field, almost non-existent movie that I believed was, well, that I thought I'd seen, just blew my mind. And if it wasn't for physical media and companies like Arrow and fucking 101 Films, or even to a degree now, I mean, these guys are catching up pretty quickly. SignalOne, their releases aren't as big, but like something like Damnation Alley, great little post-apocalyptic film from 1977, I think it was. Yeah, 1977. The first time I saw this, I watched it on a shitty VHS rip that I downloaded from a torrent site. And then SignalOne release a Blu-ray, a high definition transfer. It looks pretty good as well. So SignalOne are doing good. I mean, they're slowly getting there. They've done a few more. Hudson Hawk, great movie. This is sealed. And one of my favourite British sci-fi B movies. This film was directed by Terence Fisher. And it's The Earth Dies Screaming. I've talked about this movie before and how much I love it. It's not even a full-length movie. I think it's like 63 minutes. Can't even find the runtime now. But I've got a DVD of it as well. But this is just madness. It's madness that without physical copies or physical releases of stuff, we may never see these movies. So something like In the Aftermath, which... like, it's not an amazing film. It's quite jarring with the intercutting of the live action stuff that was shot for the movie and Mamoru Oshii's Angel's Egg animation is quite jarring at points. And another one, which has never had a release in the UK. I don't even think it's had a DVD release. It may have had a DVD release. I'm not 100% sure. Is this movie. This movie is under the title Ragman, but it's actually Trick or Treat. This is a heavy metal horror movie from the late 80s. It's directed by Charles Martin Smith, who is an actor who you may recognise from films like Starman, and he's in Close Encounters of the Third Kind. And this is just a pretty cool late 80s, I think it was in 1986. I can't even find it now. Yeah, 1986. Heavy metal horror movie. It's produced by Dino De Laurentiis, or the De Laurentiis Company, which is surprising that it's only really... I think it had a release in the States, but it's never had a release on Blu-ray in the UK. But it's a cool movie, and I think more people should watch it, because like there is no other way of watching it. The only reason I was able to see this prior to... prior to owning the German Blu-ray, was via my friend Sam, who did the musical movie screening with me, where we showed 3 movies. I think it was Trick or Treat, Phantom of the Paradise, and Walter Hill Streets of Fire. Fantastic, amazing. He was the one. He had I think he had a dodgy import VH or video or DVD. It might even be like a French DVD or something. I can't remember, but he had it. And the first time I saw it was when we screened it, and I enjoyed the fuck out of it. It was such a fun movie. So when I was just browsing Amazon Germany, and I saw this there, and it was like €8.99. So it worked out. I think it was about like £7.40 or something like that. I was just like, do you know what? I've got to get it. I've got to get it. And this is the thing. This is why I think physical media is way, 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 way more important than streaming. Is because you can find things like Trick or Treat. You can find things like In the Aftermath. You can find things like... And I was going to save this till... the next What the Fuck Did I Buy? But this is a film I've been trying to get hold of. I wasn't going to use this in this video. This is a film I've been trying to get hold of for a very, very long time. I owned a DVD of this that I got from Amazon Germany. That arrived, and it was only in German. There was no English audio, and there was no English subtitles. But this Blu-ray, which I did pay a little bit more than I normally would for, is fully English. It has English subtitles. It also has German subtitles and German audio. This is a film called Cold Blooded. This is the media book. This cost more than I normally pay for movies. But the fact that I now have this movie, the film I have been looking for since... maybe the late 90s, because I think it was 1995 this was made, or 1997. Shit, 1994. Fuck off, 1994. Wasn't that early, was it? This is one of those sort of post Pulp Fiction, Tarantino kind of crime films that came out, like Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead and 3 Days in the Valley. Those like post sort of trying to be hip, cool sort of things. This is such a fucking cool movie, this Cold Blooded. It's got Jason Priestley in it. He plays a bookie for the mob who decides to become a hitman. And it's very darkly comic. It's very bloody. It's got a cameo by Michael J. Fox in this, and I think he's one of the producers. But I have, apart from maybe once on film for in the last few years, that I've, not last few years, but in the last 10, 12 years or so was the last time I think I saw it. But again, like, you can't get this on, you can't get Cold Blooded on any streaming site. And this one, I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh my god, you've got that. Yeah. 28 Days Later. Where the fuck is 28 Days Later gone? I know 20th Century Fox or Disney has now lost the rights to it, I believe. Because it was released by Fox Searchlight, and I think they may be under a different name or a different company now. This came in a box set with 3 other Danny Boyle movies, which were Sunshine, Slumdog Millionaire, and 127 Hours. I thought I had 28 Weeks Later. I don't, but I'm not really bothered. I've got the first one. 28 Weeks Later. Now, yeah, this has been available on physical for a while, but it hasn't. It's kind of gone out of print and is very, very hard to find now. So the fact that I've got 28 Days Later, a film I'm not even that fussed on, but I got it because it came in the Danny Boyle box set, which I originally bought, not just for this, but for Sunshine, because that was a film I really enjoyed until the last like 20 minutes. But the fact that I own 28 Days Later, which you can't really get anymore, and you definitely can't get it on streaming, because it's I don't think it's on Disney Plus anymore, because like I said, I think they've lost the copyright license for it, or the license for it, or something. But again, because I have it, it sits in the collection. I'm able to watch it without stressing over trying to find a copy of it, or going through like Amazon or Now TV or somewhere like that, just to find a copy, and then having to pay on top, which, like, if you're paying for a streaming service, having to pay for stuff on top of it is fucking ridiculous, and it needs to stop. But again, physical is such a fantastic idea and format that allows us to preserve and watch movies, that it can't die. It will not die. Serial at Midnight did a fantastic interview with, I think it's Sam Dunn from Indicator, Powerhouse Films, and he said there will be an end. It will end at some point, but for the time being, it's just getting better and better and better. So physical media isn't dying, not in the long shot, not at all. It's just no longer coming from the studios that made the films. It's coming from smaller, more independent labels that are finding these films and licensing these titles and stuff and doing the work. That's why the pricing is going up and up and up. But like I said in the last video, someone like Powerhouse and 101, when they release their limited editions and then they release the standard editions, Powerhouse do a 3 for 20 quid. You cannot go wrong getting 3 Powerhouse movies, 3 Indicator movies for 20 quid when they're $9.99 a pop, or $14.99 for the limited, or $24.99 for the limited. Same as like 101 Films. They do the box, like, Black Series, and then they release a limited edition minus all the shit that comes with it and the box for $9.99. For a tenner. Like, for a tenner, I've managed to get Class of 84, Existence, fantastic David Cronenberg movie. Screamers, I fucking love Screamers. I love it. I've owned it on DVD for years. I owned it on VHS. Peter Weller is fucking amazing. I've even got Johnny Mnemonic, which is terrible. But there are films that we haven't seen, and films that I think need to be found and cleaned up and given respect and stuff. And I know some of these aren't like this one. I love this film. This is Gleaming the Cube. This is a skateboard movie from the late 80s starring Christian Slater and Stephen Bauer. It's basically the Bones Brigade movie. It's also got Tony Hawk in it as well. But this is a really cool little thriller. I didn't realise it was a 12. I thought it was a PG. Really cool little late 80s thriller. 1989 this was made. Cool skateboard movie. One of the ones that got me into skateboarding, this and thrashing. And obviously watching the X Games and watching Tony Hawk do the 900 on the vert ramp for the first time was one of the greatest moments in my my teens, if you know what I mean. But this is an ITV DVD. I don't even think ITV DVDs exist anymore. It's the Rank organization. This is in 4:3. Like, the film was shot in widescreen. Why the fuck is it 4:3? This is because it was released at a time when TVs were probably still 4:3. But this is a film that really needs a really nice upgrade, a really cool sort of limited edition or special edition. Because there's an interview that Christian Slater did. He met Tony Hawk and he met Rodney Mullen, the two. Because Rodney Mullen, I think, did all the Flatland freestyle stuff. That it's Flashdance. It's like the Flashdance sequence with Kevin Bacon doing his dance through the factory or whatever it is. This is the same scene in this, but it's Christian Slater doing Flatland skateboard tricks and freestyle skateboard tricks, and that was Rodney Mullen, whereas Tony Hawk was Christian Slater's, I guess, stunt double. But it's a cool little film, and I think it should and does deserve a special edition. I'd buy the fuck out of that. Another one which I love, again, another film that is very difficult to find because it's never been released. Well, I don't think it's been released on Blu-ray. It's definitely not been released on Blu-ray in the UK. Is this film is called Deadly Pursuit, but that's the British title. The actual title is Shoot to Kill. I actually think Deadly Pursuit is a better title than Shoot to Kill. But this is such a great movie. It's directed by Roger Spottiswoode. It's got Sidney Poitier in it and Tom Berenger, Kirstie Alley. It's got the guy from what's his name from The Thing. Played the guy who had the dog. I think it was him who had the dog. I can't remember. He's also in Stephen King's It. But it's also got Clancy Brown in it. Post I want to say Highlander. Yeah, post Highlander, but pre Mr. Krabs. Fucking amazing movie. This is such a great thriller, such a great action thriller, and definitely worth tracking down a DVD copy of it. I mean, this was released. It's released by Disney because it's a Buena Vista movie. I think it's Touchstone. But we could be in for seeing it, as Sony have done a deal with Disney to do their physical media side of stuff, which is exciting, but also quite scary, because I have a feeling they may not delve into the Touchstone sort of Disney vault, but will re-release stuff that has been released multiple times. Like, I don't need another 7 copies of Avenger Endgame. But I would love to see Deadly Pursuit, aka Shoot to Kill, get a even like just a standard Blu-ray release, but just in a higher definition. I mean, the DVD looks pretty good. It is actually widescreen. It's got the proper aspect ratio, but it's a film that I think really deserves that sort of bringing it back to eyes. And the only reason I know about that movie is because BBC showed it about 11:30 one night on a Friday, I think it was. And I was just like, you know what, let's have a look, see if it's any good. I loved it, and so I ordered the DVD when it was, I don't even think it's out of print. And this is one that it's an actual crime that this doesn't have a Blu-ray release in the UK. In fact, it's a crime. Where is it? that this doesn't have a Blu-ray release in the UK. It has a DVD release from Hong Kong Legends, which I have as well. But The Killer definitely needs a UK release. But I have the Dragon Dynasty one, and I think it's region free. The only one I don't have the Dragon Dynasty release of John Woo's Hard Boiled, one of the single greatest action movies of all time. Chow Yun-fat is an absolute motherfucking badass. John Woo's direction is amazing. It's got Tony Leung in it as well. It's got Anthony Wong. Anthony Wong is always great in everything. And it's one of the best action movies ever made. Yet it's only available on this Prism Leisure DVD that they licensed from Tartan, and I don't even think it's 4:3. This is a widescreen movie. Why the fuck it's in 4:3 is beyond me. I have no idea. But it needs to be seen. It's such a good movie. I mean, I would love 88 Films to be able to put this out. I mean, they've done a lot of Hong Kong action cinema. They've done all the Jackie Chan ones, and they've done some kind of more obscure things like Taxi Hunter and those type of movies. But no one's putting out fucking Hard Boiled, and Hard Boiled is incredible. It is incredible. The opening scene alone in the tea house where Chow Yun-fat slides down a banister covered in flour, just firing two fucking 1911s is just a shot that is incredible. And then you've got the hospital shootout with Tony Leung where they go from floor to floor, but it's so well choreographed and it's all done in one take. And I would love to see this in high definition. Doesn't even have to be a 4K scan. It can just be a 2K scan. I just need to see a decent fucking version of Hard Boiled to make me happy. And I think that's why physical over digital will always win out. It will always win out. Because there are so many films that are available on DVD, on Blu-ray, on 4K that aren't available on streaming services. Because how many of us have gone, I want to watch a film. You go to Netflix, oh, this film's no longer available. You go to Amazon Prime, this film is available, but you have to buy it for $9.99 in a HD format, which doesn't mean you're going to own it because it might fuck off into the cloud or get delisted at some point and you'll lose that money. But if you've got the physical copy of it, and you've got some form of player like a PlayStation or an Xbox or a DVD player or a Blu-ray player, you can watch that movie. That's why physical media isn't going anywhere anytime soon. And I think it's why a lot of people are unsubscribing from the streaming services, because there is that thing. Netflix has gone right downhill. They are, obviously because of Disney Plus and because of Apple and things like that they are losing, and maybe not Apple, but Paramount Plus and Disney, they're losing a lot of content very, very quickly, and it's going to get to a point soon where it's just going to be Netflix originals. And let's face it, 90% of Netflix original movies are shit. They're crap. They're not going. Rebel Moon, what the fuck was that? That was bollocks. So the fact that we've got these companies like Powerhouse or SignalOne or 101 Films and Arrow and maybe not so much the Warner collection anymore, but Warner Brothers, they're doing the Warner Archives in the UK now, which is fantastic. But these labels are keeping film alive by putting love and care into it, whereas you're not really getting the same love and care when you watch a digital version via a streaming service. Don't get me wrong, I have said this many times, there is nothing wrong with paying for a streaming service. They are there, they are convenient, and they help. I own Star Wars on the Luke Skywalker saga and the first Blu-ray. I also own the theatrical releases, but you know what, the last time I watched all 9 Star Wars movies, I watched them through Disney Plus because it was convenient. But it's not going to say I'm going to sell the Star Wars stuff because I fucking love Star Wars. But it's just like, this is why physical media is not going to die. And because more and more people are discovering movies via disc, you're going to see more and more films getting released, because that money is going back into these labels who are able to produce these fantastic releases. Again, if like something like Powerhouse, if they talked, well, Sam Dunn talked about how they had like a deal with Sony for like 50 more movies or something. That's 50 more Powerhouse movies, and if they come out, they're going to come out in standard editions, and it's going to be amazing, and everything's just going to go. It's just going to be so good. And that's why now, at the moment, if you're going to start collecting physical media, do it. Just fucking do it, because that is such a great... It's like you become slightly obsessed with buying movies, and that's never really good. But it's a great time to start collecting movies, to start discovering new movies, to finding your style, finding your genre, or what kind of films you love. Now is the best. If you love Mexican movies, Indicator is amazing. If you love like if you love, well, maybe German, Criteria, it's pretty good for that. If you love like 80s sci-fi, Arrow and 101, absolutely amazing. Arrow will do everything. You can find what you want via physical media. You cannot find what you want via digital, because it's so hard to find these movies. And I just fucking love movies, and I fucking love physical media. I'm going to run out of time in about 2 minutes, so I'm going to say thank you everyone for watching the videos. This is another long one. Sorry, I just ramble and I just go on and on. Maybe I need to start dropping the amount of examples that I'm using. But I love you all. Thank you very much. Thanks for checking out the channel. As usual, peace. I'm out.